Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a video and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful people from around the world. Today, I am privileged and delighted to welcome not just a dear friend, a fellow YPO, but someone who's also an accomplished business person and a successful author, Suzy Kanoo. Suzy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Ash. I'm really honored. And I actually didn't tell you this before, but I love India. And I know there's a reason why it's called Incredible India, because every time I go there, I feel it to be a very unique, atypical country. It is incredible. It's such a peaceful country, beautiful people, and a very tolerant society with different religions. So thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be with you. Thank you.
Terrific. So Suzy is the president of the KE Kanoo Group, which is one of the major groups of the Middle East. She's an author, and today we're going to speak more about her book, which was released yesterday and is already number 14 on the list within 6 hours of launch. So Suzy, before we talk about your book, I want to spend 2 minutes about you telling me about the Kanoo Group, how it started, and what businesses you're in.
Yeah, it's many generations old. It's over 4 generations old, and it started. They're entrepreneurs. Are my grandfather's father. They were entrepreneurs, obviously, at that time in the Gulf, and they put their hands in almost everything. But the divisions that we have is both basically automotive and real estate development, automotive, and obviously investments abroad and inside the country. So I worked with my father and my uncle before my uncle passed away, as well as my father, God bless him, Allah yarhamah. Yeah. And I decided to take over the divisions of the company that were not very exciting to them. And for some odd reason, it was the automotive division, divisions, the trading houses and the automotive. And I said, give them to me, let me do them. And everyone said, why are you tiring yourself? You should be at home having coffee and teas and lunches. Okay. And I said, no, give them to me, So anyway, I decided to take it over. I brought in a full team. I took over divisions of the company that basically had no service centers, no nothing. Renovated it completely or relaunched it, and we were one of the worst dealers in the country to the top 5. Wow. So then I became CEO, the first woman CEO, by the way, in all of the Kanoo groups. Amazing. So there are many different divisions of the Kanoo group. I'm the first woman CEO. So I hope I make them proud, and the numbers speak. So I hope they're proud of me.
I'm sure. I mean, it's quite incredible, the kind of size of business that you're running. So now, Suzy, let's move to your book. I've read your book. Thank you for sending me an early copy of it. The book is titled Hear Us Speak. It's available on every possible channel, including Amazon and all the other online platforms and bookshops. So, Suzy, tell me about the book.
The book, how it came. Let me tell you about the book. I give you a bit of background. Actually, I love to write. I've always been. I love to write. But my father actually told me. He said, Suzy, you can't write. You shouldn't write anywhere. And we're business people. We're an old business family, and I would rather you not write, because we don't want you to enter into anything political, and we're we're a business family. So in case you write anything incorrect, we're a business family. So I complied, and I wrote a bit, and I wrote here and there quietly under different names, and then I wrote a poem that was turned into a song under my name actually, and I came to him and I said, Dad, I wrote the song. And it's out of England, out of a production house in London. And I liked what they were trying to do, so I wanted to support them. And it has over 7 million views right now on YouTube. So he was very proud. And then I started to write. Then I said, he didn't think there was anything wrong with it. So I started to write. And I've always liked to write. I didn't write a lot after that as well. But after all the years that I've seen in business and the traveling and what I see around me, I felt I needed to write something about women. And it wasn't that I thought women were stifled in this part of the world, nor do I think women are submissive, nor do I think women that women can't do anything that they'd like to do. But I think that women need to be empowered and need to feel empowered. And I also have to admit, before we even start, that the countries where I come from, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and the Emirates, have done amazing leaps to empower women.
Wow.
I can't say that they honestly haven't. They really have. The leaders are really, really working hard to empower women. So salute to them. We're not there yet. But it's a big leap, you know, and I'm very impressed. I just wish that it would continue. So I saw a lot of infringement upon rights. I saw a lot of women who had stories to tell. So I said, you know what? Forbes asked me, you know, if they wanted to write, you know, me to write about myself as a successful businesswoman after they saw me at conferences around the world. And I said, you know, I'm a successful woman in business, but there are many. I mean, there are others. And I'm blessed that I've been successful. But I'd rather take this opportunity to write about women and the plight of women in the Arab world. So it wasn't really planned, to be very frank. It wasn't planned. But the more I got into it, the more I was moved by it. And I felt like this is my journey, I think. I think this is a journey and I have to do it.
Right.
And these women were just amazing, these women that I met. So God bless them. And I hope I make them proud. And I hope people will just read the book. And I hope it will just open a discussion. There's some chapters you will like more. There's some chapters you will like less. But I would like it to be discussed on the table because we have generations coming up.
Correct.
And I'd like that to happen. I'd like there to be a discussion. Are we happy where we're at? Where can we do better? I'm treating it almost like a business. Where do I have moved to do better? Where do I have room to move to do better? Where can we do better and where can we not? You know, but let us work together to do better. So that was the whole idea of the book.
Fantastic. So tell me, you know, I come from India and you've been here many times, and you know, the situation for women is significantly different now in India also. But I've often wondered, and I've often used to ask my mother the same question. I don't have any sisters. That, you know, why do women choose to remain silent in the early years when there are challenges?
I think, you know, I noticed it's a sensitive topic for, I think, our generations. But for Generation Z, I think there is no sensitive topic.
Correct.
So I think we've given them what we couldn't do. I think we've taught them, be yourself, believe in yourself. And I think I don't know if it's a cultural thing, it's a society thing, but we still go with the path that we'd rather not rock the boat, you know. There's a lot of respect for elders that we have, which is beautiful. I mean, there's nothing wrong with respecting elders. It's beautiful. Our religions are beautiful. But I think everyone is a bit timid to put these questions on the table. Now, when I talk to Generation Z, like I have in the book, it was also by accident. It's my daughter Lara who made me wonder and say, listen, I think I need to talk to this generation. They have answers and they speak very openly. They brought it to my attention that this generation is not as inhibited as we are. Now, the reason for that, maybe we gave them a lot of self-confidence. Maybe it's social media. Maybe social media is teaching them to be more open, more open with their opinions. And there is no right or wrong opinion. And I think they've picked it up before we understood it, you know. There's no such thing as just black and white, you know. There's always, you know, it's not so straight. So I think they are learning what I think we would have probably liked to learn earlier.
And, you know, you're probably also answering my next question, which is that you as a mother empower your daughter much more than probably our mothers who probably did not empower their daughters as much.
Yeah, I don't know if I did it. I don't know what she saw when she sent me the letter she wrote to me. I honestly, I was flabbergasted, like I wrote in the book. You know, I didn't expect to read what I read, but I think they say, what do they say? Is whatever you do in the house, the children notice and the children emulate. You know, if you're an abusive parent in the house, your children, you know, most probably or could be abusive, you know, to their families as well. So I think they saw that their mother woke up every morning at 5 or 6. She went to the office. Rain or sunny or foggy, you know, she was up, she went to the office. She had a choice. She had a choice also, not. And she kept accomplishing, and they saw that. And they saw that I was in the house and I really enjoyed being a mother. I enjoyed the time I spent with them. So I think it was reciprocated, and the confidence I gave them, I think I just let them be. I disciplined them when they were obviously children, but I let them think. Every child has a right to think. Every child has a right to have thoughts. We all do. Every individual does. But I allowed them to think without saying, no, that's wrong. That's incorrect. That's, and I think that's why maybe they developed, into who they are. And I allowed them to be who they want to be. She's going to biomedical engineering before COVID. So she wanted to make a difference before COVID. Now I take advice from her about medical issues, and she's quite an independent and strong person. Now, is it because of the household? Is it because she has older brothers who are quite tough? So I don't know, but I think we allow our children to be who they want to be.
Very well said. So, there was also a quote which said that don't question a woman who has faced abuse. Train the abuser when he is a child. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I alluded to that when I answered the first question. If you have a household that doesn't believe in abuse and that believes in respect, no matter what, you don't have to dictate it to the children. Again, the whole book is really, what I'm actually talking about is just give us respect. I mean, respect this gender. Respect us. We aren't half a mind. We aren't half an individual. Respect us. Respect us.
But you are half the world.
We're half the world. We're half the world. So respect us. If there's certain things that, if it's laws, if it's what you've inherited, respect the woman's mind, respect the woman as an individual. You see, what I say is in the book that we've all, a lot of us have gone abroad and we've studied, like in India, a lot of women have gone to top universities and gone abroad and we've studied and we've come back. And we really want to make a difference. And most of us, if I can say this, maybe men won't be very happy with me, that most of us have better grades than our counterparts, Yes. We do better in school, we do better in grades, and we come back, and yet obviously we see that, obviously the men, right or incorrect, but they do get more positions, they do get the higher positions. There is a change now where women are fighting to have these positions as well. We have to keep fighting. I hope we don't stop, and I hope no one gives up. But from, again, what I see with this new generation, nothing is going to stop them. They're not going to give up. No.
I agree. So tell me now about the legal system in the entire Middle East. Is it equal for both genders, or is there a disparity?
Look, there are changes that are happening. Like I said, there are huge changes in Saudi Arabia, in the kingdom, and in Bahrain as well. Our leaders, and in the Emirates, as you see every day, there's a new change.
Correct.
One important thing is that we always seem to forget, even I have to remind myself, when we were given the chance to vote, women and men had equal.
Correct.
I mean, had an equal right to vote.
Yeah.
So I can vote. I have the equal right to vote as any man. So in that gender parity, we were allowed to vote simultaneously. Now, there's certain laws that I think should be looked at more clearly, and I think the leaders around here know that they need to be looked at. And I think it's not just the laws, I think it's the implementation again of the laws. In Bahrain, we have a domestic abuse law, a new one in 2015 that came out, which is a wonderful law. But the enactment of it is difficult. You have to train. Again, if there are laws, it's very easy for me, even as a CEO, to say, we're going to do this. Okay, but who's going to implement my strategy?
Correct.
You need to train everyone around you. You need to train a police station to take women's, testimonies. You need to train them, So yes, the laws, it's up to you. You have to read the book and you have to sit down. I think this is a question. Do you feel we need to change certain laws or not? Now, if everyone says, no need, we're perfectly fine, then that's the answer. But there are laws that should be looked at. One of them that I ran into so many times, this is other than the abuse. Abuse happens all around the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Abuse against women is all around the world. It's not just the Arab world.
Yeah.
It's all around the world. So I can't just say, but it's a book about Arab women, so I can talk about Arab women. You know, but one issue I kept seeing over and over from affluent women, from all different echelons of society. One point that kept coming back, which was very difficult to hear about, is the right of a mother giving citizenship to her child.
Okay.
Now, all around the world, United Nations, I think it was in 1979, had the CEDAW law that basically it's like a bill of rights for women.
Yeah.
And one part of it basically is a woman has a right, if she gives birth to a child, to give the child citizenship.
Yeah.
Now, most of the world has picked that up and is fine with it. The Arab world has a reservation about it.
I see.
So I've noticed this over and over, and I have a hard time understanding it, to be honest. You know, everyone has their side, but it's very difficult for me to understand, because I'm telling you, with very affluent women who married foreign men, Arab women who married foreign men, who had children, and they couldn't give their children citizenship, even if they gave birth in their countries.
Wow.
But yet their brother, who married a foreign woman, was able to give citizenship to that child immediately.
Incredible.
Now, that, I don't know. Is it right? Is it wrong? Again, these are topics that need to be discussed. Is it fair? Is it unfair? We need to talk about these subjects. We never do. We're always a little bit timid about it. But there's nothing wrong with talking about them. You know, we need to find out. But this issue just kept popping up continuously. And then in the issue also, this is the same issue that kept popping up. I'm sure you read it in a chapter or two, that women who married men from other parts of even the Gulf, they didn't have citizenship for their children, and then they divorced them. The children are with the mother, but yet they don't have any identity.
Wow.
No identity. They have no identity. They can't take the children to public schools. They can't take the children to hospitals. They can't travel. They have no identity, because the father refused to give them passports. So I don't know. Is that fair? I guess these are topics that we need to talk about.
These certainly need a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
So I'd also love to get your thoughts, and this is there in some of your stories, about a woman getting married and then the man getting another woman. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, how do people react to this?
It's one story. That's one, and it also repeats a lot actually with many women. But I did put that story in the book. It is according to Islam legal. There's always reasons it should be legal. It isn't just legal just because he feels like it.
Sure.
It is legal, but also in the Quran it said, I tell you, you have to treat everyone fairly, all the wives or the multiple wives extremely equally and extremely fairly. And I tell you, it is almost impossible. So it is legal. It isn't illegal. Now, at this day and age, the women that I talk to, the majority of them who were part of this multiple, the first or second wife, had a very difficult time. It's no matter what, it was very difficult for them to accept it, to understand it, to have the children from different mothers. Now, again, it's legal. It can be brought up, it can be talked about, but it is legal to certain limits. At this day and age, it was very difficult for women to accept it. To be honest, as you saw in that story, it was very difficult for her to accept it. Yes. And in this situation, which is in a lot as well. The men have, it's also illegal. It's also against religion to drink, but a lot of them do drink, go to bars, enjoy life, and then they decide to selectively use that part of the religion. So, and then you have men who are also very honorable. So again, it's a topic to be discussed. It's not a topic that is just. It's always black and bad. It's not. It's just a topic that should women be told before it happens. Should they give consent? Should they not? Do they have to give consent? I think in one Arab part of the world, they do have to get consent from the first wife. Again, we need to talk about it.
Correct.
You see, sometimes when men actually, the reason why I also want a lot of men to read this book, because they also hear the other side, you know? We're continuously hearing one side all the time. But listen to how it feels from the other side.
Right.
How does a woman feel and how do your children feel, you know? Yes, it is legal, but listen to how difficult it is for them. And in some cases, maybe it's not. But in general, yes, it is difficult. It is difficult.
I think one of the things that you have started with this book is an amazing amount of self-realization that's going to come into men. And, you know, through my channel and whenever I speak later also, I'm going to encourage people to read your book, because when I read it, it gave me such an amazingly different perspective.
Yes.
I mean, I don't have any daughters, but if I had, I'm sure after reading your book, I would be much more conscious of her rights.
Yes, yes. You see, this is what I want. I want men to, because there's no bashing for anyone. As you saw, the book is objective.
Correct.
There's no bashing. It's introducing certain issues, and it's not in any negative way. You know, it's just, this is their story, and these are the women I met, and these women are fantastic, are strong, and the whole theme throughout the whole book was the strength of a woman, the strength of a woman, and how much she wants to sacrifice for her children. Basically, the strength of a woman is, I don't think a man can equal to her in the strength that she has. Honestly, really, I mean, these women, I was writing their stories, I remember, and I would tear when I was writing their stories, and they'd hold my hand and they'd say, listen, Suzy, we're fine. You know, look at us now, we're fine, you know? So that's what I actually wrote, you know. I don't know how they survived. And I thought, oh my God, you know, we're so successful, we're so great. No, these shadows are the light, you know, it's them, you know, they're not in the shadows, they are the light, you know. So yes, I do want men to read the book, and I do want them to hear, and I do want fathers to read, because I think fathers sometimes, it's not knowingly, you know, that's what I think I'm trying to introduce in the book. It's not things that are knowingly done. But notice that when you do have a daughter, make sure when she does get married, she's protected.
Correct.
She's protected. And religion does protect you.
Absolutely.
Islam does protect you.
Yes.
Make sure she is protected. We have an allowance for that protection. But if we don't decide to use it, then it's not always the religion's fault, you know? So protect her, you know, even if you think it might sound a bit odd, and I put these amendments in the contract, it might sound a bit odd. It isn't odd, you know? Protect her so she's protected. And I think the most important part of all of this book, to be honest, is, if I can say one thing, it's give your woman, your children, give women around you confidence to believe in themselves. That is, I think, what's lacking. We don't have that self-belief. We have self-doubt. We have shame, we carry it, we carry self-doubt, you know, why is it continuously the females who carry it much more than the men, you know, we continuously carry it, you know, and, you know, when I go on a business trip, I always feel guilty, oh my God, my kids are at home, oh my God, you know, I'm a bad mother, and my kids grew up fine. I mean, I came back, I took care of them, they're fine. Absolutely. But men don't think that way, do they? But we do. So if you give your daughter the confidence that yes, she has the power to be who she wants to be, and she's capable, and you educate her in that way, then no one can deter her. She will hopefully choose the right person. And even if it's not the right person, she will know what she needs to do. So it goes back to the house and giving that child that confidence. You know, in family businesses, we have a huge issue. I'm sure you've read the chapters in the book about that fathers or brothers always worry about the sister, and, you know, the sister, because she could be heavily influenced by, you know, her husband, and we don't want her on the board because she could be heavily influenced, you know. But, you know, what I've seen in my life basically is that men are very heavily influenced by their wives as well.
Absolutely.
So
you know,
it's the same.
As a small aside, I must mention, I've often said that, you know, in India, a lot of people say that women gossip, and I was telling them, no, I said, women don't gossip, it's the men who gossip.
It's probably the same, probably in different manners, you know. But what I'm saying is if the parents instill this in their daughters, that you are capable, nothing is going to dissuade you. You are capable, and you should have that confidence. Then no one is going to influence her on the board, or no one is going to tell her on the board, or no one at home is going to tell her on the board how to vote.
Absolutely.
She should be capable enough, and that comes from the house.
Correct.
That really comes from the house, to be frank. So I hope fathers notice that. So these are the things that I'd love, fathers to read and to hopefully empower their daughters.
Terrific. So, I'm now coming to the end of our conversation. I'd love to keep talking to you, but I want you to give one message as a woman, not as an Arab woman, but as a woman, as a global woman, to the young girls, not married, just married, in the world. What should they stand for?
I think they should stand for what they believe in. And again, I go back to the same theme I've been talking about, is believe in yourself. Don't have doubt. And don't let anyone instill this doubt in your head that you aren't capable because of your gender. There's no such thing. The sky's the limit. And to be very frank, whatever is said about and is talked about, the laws are changing here. They are empowering women more. So sky is the limit. You can go to court more, as a sister. You can go to court if you'd like, if you think you've been infringed upon in the business aspect. The court system is there. Just if you have that confidence to believe in yourself, and that is the key. It's that confidence. It's that self-doubt that continuously we get, if we can just erase that and believe in ourselves, I think that's what I would, hopefully I taught my daughter, and what I'd like to teach all the people around her is just believe in that.
Fantastic.
And hopefully, and for men to respect our thoughts, respect us, respect our thoughts. We deserve it. We truly deserve it.
Absolutely. You're absolutely so right. Suzy, thank you so much. I have just loved our conversation. And you know what I think you have done with this one book? You've started a snowball rolling down a mountainside, because I'm almost 100% certain you're now going to be getting stories from around the world saying, Suzy, book number 2, my story, book number 3, my story. So Suzy Kanoo is going to be well-known women's champions right in the world, I'm sure. Good luck.
Well, I hope so. I just hope I can make a difference. And I hope, to be honest, this journey was really to make a difference. If I can make a difference in one person's life, then I think the book was worth it. But yes, they are trying to, there will be a website coming up for Hear Us Speak. And I think women will be able to put in their stories. And I'm trying to see how we can help one another. Even with, and if all the world comes together and we help everyone around the world, that would be lovely. That would be ideal. I don't know how we can make it work, but again, with women, I think we can make anything work if we put our heads together. But thank you so much.
Thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.